Welcome to a Legendarium special about Anaximander, ancient Greece's first mapmaker. In this episode, we will talk about the first man who ever laid out the shape of the world on paper for his fellow men, and some of his truly extraordinary ideas about how the universe worked. Anaximander was born in 610 BC in Miletus, a Greek colony in present-day Turkey, then called Asia Minor. Little is known about Anaximander's early life, but he likely became a student of the Greek philosopher Thales of Miletus, who declared water to be the source of all life on Earth. Thales reasoned that water combined all four elements by being a liquid that became steam when heated and could also dissolve into the earth. However, Thales' student Anaximander sought broader answers to bigger questions. During his studies, Anaximander wrote about astronomy, geography, and the organization of the world around him. Today, only a small portion of Anaximander's work survives, and much of what is known about his work and life is based on reconstructions by later writers. Their Roman-era summaries show that Anaximander and Thales formed the Milesian school of pre-Socratic philosophy, a truly catchy name. Anaximander is also credited with inventing the gnomon on the sundial, a cylinder-shaped instrument, and he also sought a single principle that he believed would give form to the universe. Anaximander attempted to create this theory in a prose poem called On Nature. Today, only a fragment of it still exists. In the poem, Anaximander describes a system that he believed governed the world. Because of his attention to the organization of the world, much of Anaximander's work centered on early geography and cartography. He is credited with designing the first published map, and he may have also built the first celestial globe. Anaximander's map, although not detailed, became the first attempt to show the entire world, or at least the portion of it known to ancient Greeks. It is believed that Anaximander created this map for three reasons. First, he wanted to improve navigation between the colony of Miletus and the other Ionian city-states that dotted the western coast of Asia Minor. Second, he wanted to show the known world to the other colonies in order to foster trade and a sense of solidarity among the Greeks scattered across the Mediterranean. Third, Anaximander wanted to increase knowledge for himself and his peers back home in Miletus. Strikingly, Anaximander believed the inhabited portion of the earth to be flat, and that it made up the top face of a cylinder-shaped world. He also argued that the Earth's position in space was unsupported by anything, and that it simply remained in place by being equidistant from all other things, including the sun and the moon. Some have seen this explanation as the beginning of the theory of gravity. According to lore, Anaximander set up a gnomon, or a shadow-casting rod, and used it to show the equinoxes, solstices, and perhaps the hours of the day. In addition to the structure of the earth itself, Anaximander became interested in the structure of the cosmos. He believed the sun and moon to be made up of hollow rings filled with fire. According to Anaximander, the rings themselves had vents or holes so that the fire could shine through, and the different phases of the moon and solar eclipses occurred because of these vents closing, by the god's will presumably. In trying to explain the origin of the world, Anaximander developed a theory that everything originated from the Empyrean, or infinite, instead of the traditional four Aristotelian elements, earth, air, fire, and water. He also believed that motion and ethereal spatial forces led to the changing of the seasons. Anaximander also believed the world was not eternal and would eventually be destroyed so that a new world could begin. Strikingly, Anaximander also foreshadowed the theory of evolution to explain the development of Earth's living things. In his writings, Anaximander claimed that the world's first creatures originated from evaporation. He also believed that humans originally came from some other type of animal. Anaximander believed that we descended from fish, since he observed some species of fish that needed a long period of nurture, just like men. Although later writers and scientists revised Anaximander's work to make it more accurate, Anaximander still helped to create early geography, cartography, and astronomy, though often infused with as much fancy as fact. His inquiries nonetheless opened a path for others to widen and explore further. Anaximander died in 546 BC in Miletus, where he spent most, if not all, of his life. That wraps things up for this episode of the Legendarium. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, press like. If you want to see more, press subscribe. And if you've got anything to say, let me know in the comments section. Thanks again for joining me, and I hope that you have a great rest of the day.